today, the Prime Minister inaugurated the biggest ever air show in Asia, Aero India 2023. The world is witnessing and hailing India's military might and prowess that is on display at this aero show. Congress, however, has decided to politicize it and belittle the forces as well as India's defense capabilities, apparently. Congress MLA Ramalinga Reddy said that Prime Minister was at the show only because of the upcoming Karnataka elections, and BJP required Prime Minister Narendra Modi for every smallest event. He further went on to advise the Prime Minister, the Home Minister as well as BJP President that they should shift base to Karnataka till the time elections are not over.
Absolutely, he is a political tourist. PM is coming here just for elections and nothing else but elections. But he, deep down in his heart, even PM knows whatever he does here, the BJP will be thrown out of the government. It's a fact that BJP worships Godse, and it's a fact that BJP worships Savarkar. It's a fact that they were involved in Gandhiji's killing. These people and their ideology killed Gandhiji. So where is the controversy on this?
Modi ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಅವರು, ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ನಾನು ಮೋದಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲಹೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ವರೆಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲಹೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಏನು ವಾರಕ್ಕೊಂದು ವಿಸಿಟ್ಟು, ಏನು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಹಕ್ಕುಪತ್ರ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೂ ಅವರೇ ಬೇಕು, ಬೀದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಅವರೇ ಬೇಕು, ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಮಿತ್ ಶಾ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ.
See, this is the habit of our Prime Minister that throughout the years they ignore, and then when elections come, they suddenly start appearing every other day. And in that context, Shri Ramalinga Reddy ji has said that why don't they make a house over here and settle down. So on every front, Karnataka is getting stepmotherly treatment, and this double-engine government has completely destroyed, steeped in corruption. Then what is the point of just visiting before elections now and using government platforms for political purposes?
My colleague Deepak now joins me on the broadcast. Deepak, the theme of this aero show is the runway to 1 billion opportunities, but it looks like the opposition, especially the Congress, is looking at political opportunities.
Well, definitely trivializing the event, comparing it to, he's saying, Mr. Ramalinga Reddy is a working president of the Congress, saying that the Prime Minister is here for small events, and, comparing an aero show with inauguration of, drinking water or taps, what he makes a mention there. Now, as far as, the aero show is concerned, this is one of the biggest, is what, the Ministry of Defense has said. They've spoken about how India and, several companies which manufacture things for the defense, not just India but also are capable of manufacturing and delivering to other countries, are setting up stalls here. It's where CEOs of all defense establishments in different parts of the world sit together, have round tables. It's a massive event. That's what I'm trying to get at. And at such an event, if the Prime Minister, of course, is inaugurating it, it only ensures that the reach of this particular event is much more than it naturally would be. Now, having a problem with the Prime Minister being a part of this event is more political than anything else, considering the fact that we have elections around the corner. We've seen the likes of Mr. Siddaramaiah, we've seen the likes of other senior leaders take pot shots at the BJP, saying that they're just using the Prime Minister and Union Home Minister Amit Shah because they don't have a state leadership to really counter the Congress party. Is this really fear of the top leadership of the BJP being here, or do they want to really attack the BJP on these fronts, is what the Congress probably needs to answer. But definitely they're saying that there's no need for the Prime Minister to be here for every small event, and he's here every other week. It just goes on to show that the BJP is probably desperate for this election, is the charge by the Congress party, which is being vehemently contested by the BJP, which is saying that they do not understand the importance of Aero India and the Prime Minister's presence being here.
Right, and there are several opportunities that the opposition parties can find, several issues that they can find to criticize the government over. But on a day like this, when India's self-reliance of its defense forces, its new achievements are on display, definitely these leaders could have refrained from making it a political issue.
Absolutely, and more importantly, Priya, like you mentioned, there are multiple events that the Prime Minister has been participating and is participating in. Let me in fact show you. This is a massive air show where multiple countries are in fact here, and more importantly, I'm going to ask my video journalist to show you right next to me. This is the US participation this time, bringing in the F-35As, the F-18 Hornets. These are some of the best aircrafts in the world, and they are here, and one of the top countries in the world, including the US, participating here in this edition of the Aero Show. It shows how important this year's Aero Show is, not just because of the participation of countries like this, but also for Indian defense manufacturers to showcase their abilities to the world, and ensure that the export of the defense manufacturers' products also increases. So while it of course gives so much potential to the defense manufacturing sector, the Prime Minister being here inaugurating it is just going to be an impetus to these defense manufacturers and the event itself. So is it wrong for the Indian Prime Minister to be the face of something as big as this, is the question, whereas the Congress tries to bring in the aspect of elections, even for Aero Show. Probably that is something that they could have refrained from. There are other events where probably they could have questioned the Prime Minister's presence or even brought politics into it, but this is something that the Congress should be even proud of, being a part of the country. But also here, an important aspect to note here, Priya, is that the Prime Minister too took a pot shot at the Congress party, going on to say that the Aero India was just a mere show a few years ago, and it has now become much more than that, probably hitting out indirectly at the Congress party through that particular statement. So yes, there is politics playing out, and it is election season. You can expect a lot of things to get political, though probably it shouldn't, but definitely at this point in time, a lot of thinking to do for the Congress party, whether politicizing Aero India is the right way forward.
Right. In fact, Deepak, even as we speak, now Jairam Ramesh of the Congress party has tweeted, and I quote, even as we break that story, "The man in fancy dress claims credit for Aero India. The show held in Bengaluru. The truth is, it started way back in 1996 and gained in strength over the years. It's held in Bengaluru simply because of the presence of organizations there tracing their origins to the Nehruvian era." So now even a credit war is starting to break out, Deepak.
Well, they've mentioned about this in the past. We've had talks in the last couple of years about whether there would be a change of venue as well. At that point in time, the Congress started to hit out at the BJP that they are planning to shift the venue from Bengaluru to Lucknow. Of course, the decision didn't go through. The Aero shows were held here. Right now, the Congress is saying that from the time of Nehru, Bengaluru, of course, has had its ability to host Aero India primarily because of so many defense production units being here and accessibility becoming much more easier, and saying that the Prime Minister cannot really take any sort of credit for the success of Aero India's over time. But like I mentioned, the Prime Minister too had some indirect jibes to take at the Congress party, going on to say that during their time Aero India was just a mere show, and now it's much more than that. It's representing India's dreams of being a nation which is Aatmanirbhar. The aspect of Make in India that the Prime Minister has touched on upon, all of that of course is reflected on this year's Aero India, is what the Prime Minister had to say a little while.